There is a growing number of people who feel out of place in today's restless and noisy world. While society glorifies constant socializing, endless travel, and external stimulation, some individuals find themselves more at peace staying home. They may feel judged, misunderstood, or even pressured to behave like everyone else. But their choice to remain in their own space hides something profound. Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists and thinkers of the 20th century, revealed that those who prefer solitude and silence carry traits of deep meaning and extraordinary potential. Jung taught that personality is not random, it is the result of the unconscious, archetypes, and our inner alignment. When someone chooses to spend more time at home, it does not necessarily mean weakness, fear, or laziness. It can be a reflection of a deeper personality, one that seeks authenticity over appearances, depth over surface, and introspection over meaningless distraction. The world may label these people as antisocial, but Jung saw something far beyond hidden wisdom. The first truth Jung reveals is that those who prefer to stay home are often more connected to their inner world. While most people run to the noise of the outside to escape their own thoughts, these individuals face them daily. They reflect, analyze, and explore their own minds. Jung believed that true growth comes not from running away from the unconscious, but from integrating it. That is why those who enjoy solitude often develop greater self-awareness and emotional maturity. The second truth is that home becomes a sacred space of renewal. For many, being at home is not about isolation, it is about protection. It is the place where masks fall off and the soul finds rest. Jung explained that the psyche needs moments of retreat to restore itself. Those who constantly expose themselves to external pressures end up exhausted, while those who know how to withdraw gain strength to face the world with more balance. Staying home, therefore, is not a limitation, it is a strategy of survival and growth. The third truth is that people who prefer to stay home value authenticity over superficiality. Jung said that one of the greatest conflicts of modern life is between what we show and who we really are. Those who enjoy staying home often avoid shallow interactions because they are more interested in authentic relationships. They prefer a small circle of true connections to a crowd of fleeting acquaintances. This is not weakness, it is clarity. They understand that energy is precious and should not be wasted on masks and empty conversations. The fourth truth is that home is the temple of creativity. Jung saw the unconscious as a fountain of images, ideas, and inspiration. When someone chooses solitude, they are allowing this creative fountain to flow. That is why many artists, writers, and thinkers prefer to isolate themselves for long periods. The house is not a prison, it is a laboratory of the soul, where imagination and inspiration converge without interruption. If you have ever felt judged for not wanting to go out, understand, there is nothing wrong with you. On the contrary, you may be living truths that Jung himself identified as essential for inner growth. Staying home can be a sign of depth, authenticity, and creativity. But there are still two more truths, perhaps the most profound, that reveal the greatness of those who prefer silence to noise. In the continuation of this message, we will uncover them, and you will see that your way of being hides treasures that few can understand. Motivation you need, where your awareness expands and your soul finds direction. In the first part of this message, we uncovered 4 truths that Carl Jung revealed about those who prefer staying at home. Connection with the inner world, the house as a sacred space of renewal, the search for authenticity over superficiality, and the home as a temple of creativity. These already show that choosing solitude is far from being a weakness, it is a source of strength. But there are still 2 truths, perhaps the deepest of all, that reveal why people like you, who prefer silence and retreat, may carry within themselves something rare and powerful. The 5th truth is that those who enjoy staying home are more aligned with their own individuality, or what Jung called the self. According to Jung, each human being carries within them tendencies to adapt to the external world and to remain faithful to their own essence. Most people are swallowed by the need for acceptance and adapt to whatever society demands, often losing themselves in the process. Those who prefer to stay at home, however, often distance themselves from these social pressures and, by doing so, get closer to their authentic self. They learn to hear their own voice more than the noise of the crowd. This is not about isolation, but about connection with what is most true within. To stay home, in this case, is to preserve the purity of the soul against the manipulation of external expectations. The 6th truth, perhaps the most striking, is that people who prefer solitude are more capable of diving into the depths of the unconscious and from there, bringing wisdom to the world. Jung taught that true transformation does not occur on the surface, but in the dark depths of the psyche. Few are willing to explore these waters because they are turbulent, full of shadows, fears, and hidden truths. But those who choose solitude are naturally closer to this internal process. By avoiding constant distraction, they allow repressed contents to emerge. This is where the famous concept of the shadow appears, the hidden side of each one of us that needs to be integrated. Those who stay home have more chances to face their own shadow and, by doing so, find inner strength that others will never know. Think about it. How many people run from silence because they are afraid of what they might find inside? How many fill their lives with noise, parties, and social media just to escape from themselves? Those who prefer the refuge of home do not escape. They allow silence to reveal truths. They face the shadow, embrace their contradictions, and transform pain into wisdom. Jung saw in this process one of the most powerful journeys of the human soul, the path of individuation, the becoming of who you truly are. This is why many of the greatest thinkers, artists, prophets, and leaders of history spent much of their lives in silence, retreat, or seclusion. They were not running away from life, they were preparing to illuminate it. Moses encountered God in solitude. Jesus prayed alone in the desert. Jung himself spent years reflecting in his private home by Lake Zurich, where he wrote some of his most profound works. Great revelations are not born in the noise of the crowd, but in the stillness of the soul. If you have ever felt different for preferring to stay at home, know that there is nothing wrong with you. On the contrary, you may be living one of the most authentic forms of existence. Jung reminds us that depth is not for everyone. Many choose distraction, few choose introspection. If you are among the few, treasure this gift. It means you are closer to yourself, closer to truth, and closer to the wisdom that the world so desperately needs. The 6 truths revealed by Carl Jung about those who prefer to stay home are not signs of weakness but of strength. They show that you are connected to your inner world, capable of renewal, lover of authenticity, creative in silence, faithful to your individuality, and brave enough to face your own shadow. In a world drowning in appearances and noise, being able to remain in your own space, cultivating your inner garden, is a rare and precious gift. Do not let anyone make you feel guilty for being who you are. If you prefer the peace of home, it is because your soul understands something that the world has forgotten. True transformation begins in silence, and from silence, light is born. Motivation you need, where your awareness expands and your soul finds direction.